Hi, my name is Sikani Boxill. I'm part of the MBBS class of 2020, the pandemic graduating class. I was asked to talk to you about a little bit about overseas electives and why you may benefit from this experience. It's a period of 3 to 5 weeks in 4th and 5th year that you can use to experience medicine in a way of your choosing. So this can either be a clinical rotation or it could be research. It must be approved by the faculty, and it also must be approved by the person or the institution you're doing it with. So depending on whether you're doing it overseas or at home, for example, you just talk to a doctor and you ensure that they're okay. They may need to sign on a form that you get from the faculty confirming that they will do the elective with you. However, if you are approved by an institution overseas, I believe you can just show them the email or the letter that they may send to you directly to the faculty, and they will accept that. At the end of this period, you get assessed, and it's recorded as a pass or a fail on your transcript, so it does not affect your GPA. It's very simple to get assessed well, just be a responsible student and be present on time regularly. So the disadvantages I will start with first. The cost associated with it can be a lot. So you have to provide for yourself food, housing, transport, and depending on where you go, tuition. I would not necessarily recommend you go anywhere that charges you tuition. There are a few tuition-free programs. You can just search online. I know quite a few people who just searched online, emailed many different consultants or attendings, as they call them overseas, in their area, and are able to get tuition-free programs. I personally did thoracic surgery at Yale and was able to get it tuition free because Dr. Hilary Brown has a special program where she allows 2 students every year to go to Yale, and you apply for the program that you want. It doesn't necessarily need to be surgery. Another disadvantage is that I should also talk a little bit about the cost. So where I went, which was in Connecticut, the cost of housing could vary anywhere from $400 to $2,000. $400, as you imagine, you probably have to live with a few people you probably don't know and probably share like a single bathroom. You can probably check Airbnb, or they have a few other applications that you can use, but Airbnb is probably one of the best. But there's a well-known international students situation going on at Yale, so it was very easy for me to find housing. So your mileage might vary there depending on where you go. Another disadvantage of doing overseas elective is that it may be bad depending on where you do it and who you do it with. You have to trust that the program that you're going to do it with will be up to scratch, and that you'll be able to get along with the attendings, and it won't be biased against you in any way just because you're an international. Some people have had that experience. However, usually, in general, most people enjoy it. You'll have to plan ahead, so that's another disadvantage. You have to plan ahead, usually many months in advance. Of course, you have to imagine that you have to get your housing situation, visa status, airplane ticket, confirmation on both ends, and it's usually a fair bit of work to set up. The advantage is it is extremely a refreshing experience. You'll be able to get new perspectives. It will completely transform, I guarantee, the way that you view medicine. Going to Yale was one of the best experiences of my life. I was able to meet brilliant people at the top of their field, people who make the guidelines, people who are just so brilliant to talk to. Just talking to them is an experience on its own that you really cannot put a value on. There are so many conferences, research meetings, people of different specialties coming together. You really could see the future of medicine by being at these institutions. You have many networking opportunities available to you, which is very really valueless, because as you come to realize, when you go up there, it's very difficult to get into these when you are a postgraduate. However, as a medical student, it's significantly easier for you to be able to do an elective at these institutions and be able to meet the same people. However, if you want to go there to do postgraduate research or even match into a residency, it's extremely difficult. And so the same opportunity to meet these connections and get this experience, the best time to do it really is now in your elective period. You really get to experience the cutting edge of medicine. I got to experience robotic surgeries, where people go into a booth and control a robot which does the surgery, which was really incredible. And of course, the connections you'll make, the life experiences, just traveling around the different campuses. Many of them are very beautiful. Friendships with people internationally. To be approved by the institution up to 4 months out, as I mentioned earlier. You must match it with your elective date. So whenever you put your elective slot, is when you need to match. The institution that you're going to needs to know that that's when you will be free, and you need to ensure that those two correlate, so you don't end up scheduling for the institution to have you when you have another rotation. So in some cases, the faculty may allow you to shift your elective in order to accommodate this. However, sometimes you may not be able to, so just ensure you have that sorted from before. As I mentioned before, it must be approved by the medical faculty, and then you must get signed up by Dr. Jean Unam Johnson, who is the elective coordinator and works in accident and emergency. So a lot of programs will also have some additional requirements, such as needing to have a visa status, having certain immunizations, but they will mention all of this to you, of course, if you get accepted. Letters of recommendation. So since you'll be doing this usually some point in in fourth or fifth year, you'll already have had your third year rotations and the ability to make connections with some of the consultants who can then recommend you to doing some electives. Usually, it's not that serious. You'll also need a transcript, usually, but also GPA, not that serious. As I mentioned, it's a lot easier to get into these institutions as a medical student.